You gonna try to eat them?
Well, I guess I don't have much choice. Yeah, I shouldn't have eaten that last serving of pie. Well, good morning. It is Father's Day 2022. Happy Father's Day to all the guys out there getting it done. I've got some work to do today. Yesterday, before we left, Jafana and I showed you guys what the list is looking like. Now that is my punch list of what I need to get done to be able to get the inspection. There's a couple other things that have to go on there. One of those is that the gas line has to be run, and we will, but we are getting there. As I'm going around here looking at things and running wires, some things occur to me. I'm counting up the 20 amp circuits that I'm going to be using in here, and as you can see, I've got 11 20 amp circuits in use right now. Obviously I've got to run most of them in here because they're not terminated inside the box, but getting down to 11 circuits puts me here. Well, that seems nice. Seems like I got a lot of growth, but I've got some air conditioning that's gonna have to go in here. By the time I finish getting everything in this thing that I need, it's gonna be getting tight. And as I'm going through here doing things, one of the things I pulled recently doesn't make any sense. So I've got to change the way that I've got it done. Because these are solid foam walls, and yes, there are studs in the walls. People have asked about that. They asked if it was some kind of structural foam. Each one of these panels has a 2x6 or two 2x6s in the edge of it that run from the roof, top of the roof all the way to the floor. When you sandwich that into those panels, it is really, really strong. It's like an I-beam. If you go to sips.org, there's lots of really good information on SIPs. But all that being said, they come with little channels cut in them so that you can run your wire in them. I chose not to do that. And we decided we were just going to run, because there's only a couple of spots in the house that we need that to happen. We're just going to run a piece of this flexible metal conduit right down the corner after we get the drywall on there, and we're going to have an outlet box right there, and that will satisfy the outlets we need on that wall, because we've got a ton of outlets over on these two walls. That wall should not need any because it's too short, and in the next room we're doing the same thing. Should be pretty easy. The only problem is I ran two lines all the way back to the box, which basically means that one quad outlet over there is running on a 20 amp circuit by itself. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to change the way this is pulled. I'm going to have to pull this line all the way out. That's going to be a pain. Then I'm going to join it up to the other one in the attic. And that way I've got two rooms on one circuit, plus any outlets that I put in the attic, I'm going to pull off that same 20 amp circuit. And that is a much more reasonable way to use what I've got available. This should be an easy fix. Easy fix. I think I dragged almost every tool I own up here. However, go pop these out. Put my pliers. Drop my screwdriver. Alright, we're going to put it right here. And then I need about that much overlap. We use this very fancy, very clever tool to cut it. What this does is it just puts a little scribe. It just basically grinds right through, right there. And that allows you to, in theory, open it up and unscrew it. And that thing comes right off. Doesn't damage your wires at all. Very cool. Then you take your snips, you cut off that little spiky piece right there, so it's a little smoother. Cuts it off, makes it a little more smooth. Take your little plastic collar, stick that on there, and pull that down into it, and tap it in, and that prevents that sharp metal edge from being able to cut your wires. Take this one, bring it right over here, and I'm going to cut it so that it fits right in there real easy. I believe that's correct. Screws right off, almost put me in the eye. Does not damage the wire, which is super nice. I used the top ones because I wanted to free up coming in from the side on this other one and coming in from this side. Unfortunately, I only brought 2 of these things up with me, and I need, oh, no, that's not true. I brought an extra. I brought a 3rd. Hey, darling.
Oh, you got
Yeah, they only had 2 bags when I got there. She's not up here.
Oh,
She's outside playing with her plants.
Gotcha. You having fun up here?
Well, I'll be having fun when this is done. I am so ready for this to be over with. Pull these all to the side so we can see here. Position this right there. Notice that I've got the wire around the screw so that it'll get tighter, not looser, as it starts to get tension. All right, we've got that on there. I'm gonna pull my neutrals together. Since I've got that right there, I'm gonna pull that up. I'm gonna pull my other grounds over in the same direction. I'm going to pull my hots over here, and we're going to collect these neutrals together. Take these neutrals over here. They're all going to get a 3 unit Wago. There we are. Those are on there nice and snug. I love these Wagos. They're awesome. We do the same thing for the hots. Open up the little lever. Wire goes in here. Goes in, real easy. Slides right in. Flip the lever down. It is on there like a vise. Put that one in there, close it. Put that one in there, close it. I'm using a 5 slot for the grounds. And they're all joined together. Take this and roll it. Tuck that in there. Roll this one. Probably got too much wire sticking out here, but put that in there. And then take this and roll the negatives down. And we are in there. They're not putting drywall over this. Drywall is going to come up to about here. So, no problem. I might have to get a different light to use because that LED light that I'm using seems to be causing a lot of distortion. Whatever the wavelength is on the light is not doing well on film. But I've got my 2 wires coming in. One of them goes to the office. One of them goes down into the bedroom. They come together, join into the same circuit. This is my feed, and that goes down. When I try to bring in some additional power, I will pop it in here, and I'll feed anything that needs to be up here in the attic in case I need some outlets and a light.
Wow.
Put it so the lines are on the outside.
Okay.
It gives me a visual reference to help me find the studs.
Okay.
There we go. Watch bang. Alright, cool. A lot of people have very keen eyes, and you probably noticed that there's a gap at the top of this wall. That is because this area right here was the first stuff that I built. It's the first stuff I framed up. And I sent some pictures of it to my son-in-law, and he was a framer for houses, and his response was, I'm gonna be there this weekend. He brought his tools, came up, showed me what I was doing wrong, and we moved from there. I started with the studs I was using were actual 8-foot 2x4s instead of the 93-inch 2x4s. It's 93 inches because you have a bottom plate, the stud, and 2 top plates. 4.5 inches of 2x4 plus the 93 inches. It rises you up to the right height so that you can put 2 pieces, 8-foot drywall on the walls, and the gap is right on the bottom, and it meets up where it's supposed to at the top. I did not know this. So this side of the house, we framed it out the same way, all the way across. The other side is the way it's supposed to be done. They're gonna have to make some cuts and stuff. In addition, this is a 9-foot section right here. This is a 9-foot wall. Well, I've got 2x12 over the edge joist hangers, and the reason that I went with the over the edge is because it creates a positive lock on the top plate that runs along the top of those SIPS panels. Locked everything in nicely. I also put some straps on there to reinforce it. There's a 1/2 inch, almost an inch difference in the height of the wall where the bottom of that stud is to here. As this comes into the middle, when I hit the middle, it's all good. It doesn't matter. This is just a separating wall. This is not load bearing. The ones over here that are load bearing have the joists on them. They're good to go. This is the voice of inexperience. I'm throwing this out there instead of trying to hide it because somebody might be able to learn from this. Best of luck. Well, it's Father's Day, and one of my daughters is here, and she asked me to come down to the pond with her and do a little fishing. So we're gonna see if we can't pull something out of here with a couple of spinner baits. All right, let me show you. Do you know how to use it?
Nope.
All right. We'll see if we can't tickle a couple of bass out of here. Hold it right there. Lock that back. Let go as you throw it. Just constant reeling. We're just trying to lure them in and get them to go after that spinner bait. Yep. Lock it back. There you go. I'm not really sure how you didn't lock it back.
I did. Oh, was it locked?
Push finger on it.
Let's put the opposite direction where it was.
Perfect. Now reel it in, quick. Start reeling. You gotta turn with your left hand. My daughter told me that she was reading an article that said you should learn to fish because it's not just a life skill that'll put a fish on the table, but because of all the other small skills and little lessons involved, which you can take with you to make your life better. Now, I don't doubt that she was reading an article that said she should learn to fish, but I'm also not naive enough to think that she just coincidentally chose Father's Day to ask me to come down to the pond with her. I certainly didn't mind. It was a beautiful day, and I got to spend some time enjoying an activity that I love and sharing that with my daughter. That's the first one. Let him get back in there, and maybe he can pass a word to the others that we're out here and they'll come see us. Bass and bluegill. I mean, we got big grass carp, but they don't go after any kind of lure. Get it up here. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable.
Can you reenact that?
No. I don't know if it's on film or not. My rod was busted. The reel came off. And then when I pulled him up, he came about 2-3 inches out of the water and the line broke. And I can't seem to get the lure out of his mouth. And I'm worried he's not gonna make it. I got him.
Oh, dude. Okay. Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, he may live and he may not. He's been awfully stressed.
I did not do that.
I watch fishing shows.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how big he was, but he's a big boy.
Oh, happy Father's Day. I didn't get it on. Darn it. I didn't get it on video.
That's all right. I need a new rod, I guess, or I need something, some kind of repair kit. The little plastic ring that holds it on broke in my hand, came off. And so I was casting it out there without it, just kind of using my finger pressure to hold it up. But once I hooked them, it got hard to manage. It is what it is. Yeah, my knot came untied. That was crazy. I have spent most of my life dreaming of this moment without really specifically knowing it. For almost 30 years, I swore that someday I was going to move to the woods and live in a cabin. For most of that time, it has only been a dream. All right, I'm looking back down the trail. Back in there is where I was standing when I took that video, the last video. because that's where you go to get to the pond. And if I turn to my right, we have an open field here. And if I turned all the way around and look uphill, we have an open field that goes on up the hill. I held on to that dream and I fed it. And then one day, I had an opportunity and I took it. Alright, here's from the corner. You can see they have cut down across. We have full field.
Hoping you would stay, but I've always known you would go find your own way. I still see when we climbed up in those trees, 12 years old, feel the wind, watch the river run, and the sun would always shine. When we sat there, you and I, the river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're. River's gonna cry when you're. River's gonna cry when you're gone. It's gonna cry, it's gonna cry.
It was just an afternoon, and maybe I shouldn't make such a big deal about it. But I haven't gotten over the sense of wonder that I have of this place, and the fact that I get to call it mine, and I get to share it with my family. The fish was a nice bonus, but 10 years from now, I won't remember the fish. I will only remember this day.